amazing entrepreneur. It's day 7 of Tashmas, and we have a really sexy conversation set up for you today because we're going to be talking about email marketing. Now, all of the show notes from today and also the link to the special freebie that I have for you are available at tashcorbin.com/Tashmas07. So because it's day 7 of Tashmas, Tashmas07 is the link that you need, and that will have the link to this in video, podcast, and written form, as well as all the special offers that are available today. So what we're talking about is what the email trends that I saw happening in 2018, some of the insights from my projects with VIP clients and also working with students in my academy, and some tips, hints, and hacks for you to make sure that you're making the most of email marketing as a strategy in your business. So first and foremost, 2018, I think, was the year of really being much more mindful of entering people's inboxes. Now, I say this all the time, I've been saying this for years, that we need to be really conscious of every single opportunity that people give us to go into their inbox. And so every newsletter, every standalone email, every launch-related email, we want to be very considerate of the fact that it's another piece of information into people's inboxes, and therefore we are taking a piece of their time, their energy, and their attention by putting that email into their inbox. And we are contributing to their overwhelm if we go there too often, and particularly if we send emails that really have nothing to say, or if we send emails that we haven't really considered the value that we're putting in front of our potential clients and our followers. So it's been really cool to see some of the big marketers get on board with this. We've seen a reduction in the number of emails that we receive when we go through a launch process from some people. Some are dialing it up. I had one launch that I signed up for the first lead magnet for, and I counted 38 emails in a 2-week period that I received from that person. And then when the launch actually closed, I received a further 15 emails in the following 2 weeks with downsells and cross-sells and all sorts of other things as well. I think that, number one, I unsubscribed. I stayed because I want to see, how long is this going to go for? And then after the last, downsell email, there was a 2-week period I got nothing. So I didn't even get a newsletter or here's some free content or anything. And then I got one email that was sort of the ramping up for the next launch, and I unsubscribed at that point. So first and foremost, I think when we are subjected to that many emails from someone and we do get that sense of overwhelm, there was a day where I received 5 emails in one day. I think that we're all getting to the point where we just don't tolerate that kind of emailing behavior anymore. The second thing is that the GDPR really started to make marketers accountable for ensuring that they actually had our permission to send us emails. And for me, the being randomly added to someone's mailing list when I have no idea how they got my email just isn't happening as much anymore, and I'm very glad for that. So I've seen as a user a shift in that kind of email behavior. And also for us as providers, we've had to be more conscious of, were people expecting to be added to our mailing list when they signed up for this thing? Are we clear on what our privacy policy is? Do we make it easy for people to unsubscribe? So it really helped to create this standard set of rules for people. And even though a lot of us aren't based in the UK or the European Union, a lot of us don't have a lot of clients in the European Union, and it's a minority, not a majority thing for us to be able to set that beautiful benchmark and standard across the board for all people coming into our world and following us, I think it's actually a really good thing. So I think GDPR has had a really positive influence. Number 3, in 2018, we did see a spike in the use of messenger bots as an alternative to or supplement to email-based marketing, and I've seen some really well done messenger bots and I've seen some really bad ones. So I really have loved Zach Spuckler, I'll give him a total shout out. I love the way that Zach Spuckler uses messenger bots in his business. And I know that he actually has some training on that. So go and check it out because I think he really does a great job of using messenger bots. I still don't have messenger bots in my own business. I find a lot of the ones that I have seen have been really bad, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to fall into that trap. So I'm very mindful of not doing that to people. The ones that I really don't like is when I go to look at someone's Facebook page and they pop up and say, hey, thanks for visiting my page, blah, 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 what are you looking for? And it's like, well, I was looking for your page and now you've interrupted me. And for my computer as well, and particularly when I was in places where the internet was a bit slow, that would make my whole computer freeze. And so am I going to really be in love with that person who did that to me? No, I'm not. So there are some good ones and there are some bad ones. And for me, that's why I haven't really gone down that path yet. There are things that I haven't mastered in email marketing, my Facebook pages, anything like that, before I add the complexity of messenger bots to my marketing strategy. So I'm not going there just at this stage, but it's probably something I will look into in 2019 or maybe 2020. Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about with email marketing in 2018 is I have seen a lot of women get much better at selling via email. And selling in a way that feels really connected, that really taps into storytelling, connection-based marketing, getting to the point nice and quickly, and really understanding your exact ideal client's needs. And that has been so wonderful for me to see, and it's been great to participate in. And I know for myself, I've become much more effective at ensuring I follow up on freebies, on webinars, on live events, and make sure that my email follow-up sequences are really structured and effective, and that they hit the key points that they need to be hitting without being like completely overwhelming. A great example of email marketing lessons and paying attention to the numbers and what your audience is telling you is I was working with a VIP client and we did a launch for them in mid to late 2018. And as part of that launch, we had email follow-up sequences for early bird and then for the full price of their program. We ran a 5-day challenge to start with and then had a masterclass style webinar, and both of those lead magnets had email follow-up sequences. Now, when we did the review of that launch, what we saw, because they had 5 follow-up emails for each lead magnet, what we saw was that email 4 and 5 had very, very low open rates, and the click-through rates were either 1 or 0 people had actually clicked through. And through that launch, we actually had 2,000 people come through that launch process. And so the open rates were down to about 8 to 10% by email 5. I think it was about 12 or 15 on email 4, but the click-through rates on those last 2 emails were actually pretty low. And then we had a 6th email, which was like a last-minute email, and it was sent out like 2 hours before cart close, and that one had a lot more opens, but again, very low click-through rate. So what we did was we went and had a look through what was the behavior of people in the previous emails, and we saw that by the 3rd email, more than 60% of people who'd signed up for the first lead magnet had clicked through either to watch the webinar or to watch the recap of the challenge or to the sales page for the paid product. And so what we did in the launch review was make a decision that for the next launch, which is happening in January, we're just going to reduce the number of follow-up emails down to 3 plus the last minute ones. So 4 emails in total in the 6 to 7 days following up from each lead magnet. And it's really cool to be able to see those numbers and recognize actually the reason why those last emails didn't perform particularly well partly was due to the fact that people had already seen everything that they needed to see. So there were some changes to the sales page that we needed to make, and there were some changes that we needed to make to the webinar format to make sure, and the presentation of the webinar recording to make sure that we maximize the conversion from if they've clicked off the email and they've gone over to watch the webinar, that we maximize the conversion from watching the recording into purchasing the thing. and also with the 5-day challenge recap page as well. So I think that this just goes to show, particularly for where you have a strong KLTC with your peeps, so that they know, like, trust, and feel connected to you, where that's really strong with your audience, you actually will achieve your goals that you need to achieve with the first 3 to 4 emails anyway. So there's no need to send the 17, 18 emails that some of these big marketers have always been talking about anyway. So that's a really cool thing to see. And also for me, moving forward, for all of my onboarding sequences and my follow-up email sequences, I'm looking at the ways that I can reduce the number of emails and maximize conversion once people have taken the first step on that email. So some really cool insights that we can glean from just a few examples and experiences of launches, email marketing, and email follow-up sequences. So I have got a special freebie for you as day 7 of Tashmas, and it's a freebie that I released in late 2018, and it is email marketing. So it's how to write a great email follow-up sequence, and it actually taps into buyer behavior. So we have some people who buy instantly, we have people who are social buyers, we have people who are the considered researcher buyers, we have the last minute buyers. So considering all of those different buyer behaviors, I've actually crafted a great email follow-up sequence and given you what is the structure, what goes in the first email, what goes in the second email, and so on and so forth. And I'm giving you that absolutely free. So all you need to do is go to the show notes for today, which are at tashcorbin.com/Tashmas07, because it's day 7 of Tashmas, and you'll get all the links that you need, as well as being able to access the recording of today's Tashmas episode in video, audio, and written form. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to email marketing is to have a think about all of the ways that you email your audience. So this follow-up sequence is specifically related to a follow-up from a freebie or a webinar that you might have run, or lead magnets in a launch. But the other thing that I wanted to quickly talk about is your regular email to your tribe, whether that you call it a newsletter or an update or a love note or whatever it might be. So I have the heart-to-heart newsletter that I send every single week. And that newsletter has a really succinct and straightforward format. Here are some of the things that you might like to look at in 2019 to improve your regular email or content cycle getting out into your newsletter list, your mailing list. Number 1 is consistency. So when I send the email out every single week on the same day, I have way better open rates, way better click-through rates, and way better engagement from my audience than when it's just totally haphazard. And towards the end of this year, I have been quite haphazard because I've been traveling. We've had the Tashmas emails. We've had some different things going out at different times. We've been focused on the 7-day fast money challenge as well, which is always a busy week for emails because there's a daily email with that. And so I haven't been as consistent as I normally would be. And I have seen a gradual drop in the open rates of my emails and a gradual drop in click-through rates as well. So making sure that you are consistent, whether it be weekly or fortnightly or even monthly, I recommend fortnightly at least, but whether it be weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, that it's consistent. People can really understand and know when it's going to be email day from you, what to expect, and that the layout is quite consistent as well. So the layout that I use for my email is a very straightforward and simple one. At the top, I have my love note. So it's a little update from me, what I've been up to, and I always have a selfie of myself on that email as well, so people can see, like, this is Tash this week, this is me, and it really creates that sense of connection. The second section is my content. So I always make sure I have a beautiful podcast episode that is full of juicy value and that will really help people with a specific area of their business or their mindset. And that is in the second chunk of my newsletter. And then the third chunk is my promo. So I'll either be promoting a free thing, usually it's a free thing like a webinar, fast money challenge, a free opt-in or something, or sometimes it will be a paid thing. So towards the end of the year now, it's going to be the the 100 Days of Colour program and the Heart and Soul Planning System. And then in the new year, we'll be starting to ramp up our promotions of conference as well. So it's a really simple format. It's really predictable. People know that it's not going to be crazy long. People don't skim through to get to the good bits. It's just a really upfront, straightforward email process. And then the final thing that you can really start practicing and experimenting with is your subject heading. So the subject of the email will really contribute to whether or not people are going to open that email. Now, there are fun email subject lines that you can use that people go, oh, that's funny, you put a song in my head, or you put that thought in my head, or I remember that movie quote that you used, or that was a really funny thing saying. And then there are ones that are compelling, i.e., I really need to read that now. Now, I think for a lot of people who work business to business, that I really need to read that now is going to be a much better fit for you. But have a play around with email headings, because the subject is really what will dictate whether I open that email or not. Now, for me, I use H to H and then the discounts issue, the emails issue, the Tashmas issue, the videos issue. So I have like the topic area that I'm focused on for the day. But the reason why I can get away with that, and that works for my audience, is I have built up a very strong sense of trust with my audience, and they know when they open my emails, they will be able to get a juicy piece of content that will teach them something for free straight away, that will be a priority for them in their business, and also that it's a very quick read. I make sure that I keep it nice and quick and nice and succinct for people as well. So for that reason, people are looking for H2H coming into their inbox. If you're not at that point in your business thus far, then maybe consider using more sentence-based subject lines so that it's really capturing people's attention and giving them an indication that this is the email they need to be opening. P.S. You must open this email, or this is the one email you must open, rarely works with people. So the way that you convey that this is the email they should open is through the value that you're providing inside the email, not pressure and fear-based tactics. So hopefully that's given you some great insights into how you can improve your email marketing in 2019, and all of the trends and winners and losers that I've seen in 2018 as well. Don't forget to head to the show notes to get that special freebie, tashcorbin.com/Tashmas07. And until next time, tomorrow with day 8, I cannot wait to see you shine. Bye for now.